Fun with failure.
We are surrounded by the strange and bizarre every day. Even everyday experiences from people in the hospital have very strange and funny experiences. Here's just a few that I've found I'd like to share with you. These are 11 incidences that hospital doctors and nurses have experienced in their past, and I think you will enjoy. So let's get started. When I was doing home health, I had a patient that was very demanding and could be outright rude at times. At one point, she had a terrible stomach virus, which made her a daily patient for a while. Of course, I got stuck with her while she was daily. One morning I went in and she was sitting at the kitchen counter looking positively green at the gills. I said, "Are you alright?" She looked at me dead in the eyes and said, "Heck no! That doctor is going to have to do something about these dang pills he gave me. They are just too big to swallow and I had to cut them in half. And to top it all off, they are slimy and make me gag when I try to get them down." I nearly died laughing when I realized that these pills were glycerin suppositories. One evening while administering medication to an elderly lady, the following exchange took place. "Hi, I have the medication for you." "Oh, okay." "I'm going to give you some Pepsi for your stomach, but I'm putting it in your IV." The patient looked a bit perplexed. Okay, I have a question." "Okay, what's your question?" "Well, I hope you don't mind me asking, but I was wondering, why Pepsi and not Coke?" Now, thankfully, this story didn't result in a death, but it goes to show you how sloppy handwriting can have major problems in healthcare. A woman in Arkansas brought her baby to see the doctor, and he had determined right away that the baby had an earache. He wrote a prescription for eardrops. In the direction he wrote, "Put 2 drops in right ear every 4 hours." And he abbreviated right as an R with a circle around it. Several days passed, and the woman returned with her baby, complaining that the baby still had earaches, and his little behind was getting really greasy with all those drops of oil. The doctor asked to see the bottle of eardrops, and sure enough, the pharmacy had typed the following instructions on the label: "Put 2 drops in R ear every 4 hours," and she mistaked it as rear every 4 hours. I was triaging a patient in L&D who I thought was going into labor. During the pain assessment, I asked her, "Is your pain intermittent or consistent?" "What? Does your pain come and go or is it consistent?" "Well, it's consistently coming and going." James is 87 years old, the sweetest of patients, one of nature's gentlemen. Just the other day, when I was giving James a sponge bath, I stood him up next to his bed so I could wash his privates, when he looked down and he said, "Have you ever seen anything so big?" I didn't know what to tell him. All I could think was, there was this guy down in Florida one time. But before I could say a word, James shook his head and said, "My brother-in-law told me once that I had the biggest dang feet he has ever seen." A man came into the ER and yells, "My wife is having a baby in the cab." I grabbed my stuff, rushed out to the cab, and lifted the lady's dress, and began to take off her underwear. Suddenly I noticed that there were several cabs, and I was in the wrong one. I was caring for a 22-year-old newly diagnosed insulin-dependent diabetic who was extremely non-compliant. In my efforts to illustrate that compliance and good control of blood sugar generally will delay the onset and severity of long-term complications, I shared the clinical picture of a young man. The man, due to his denial of his disease, by 32 years of age was blind, on dialysis, had lost his testicles and was about to have his feet amputated. The patient cried out in horror, "How can you live without testicles?" I was recovering an elderly Cornish female patient who was hard of hearing and who had her colostomy resitted. Upon awakening, we had the following conversation. "What's done then?" "He resitted your colostomy." "He's what?" "He resitted your colostomy." "Recycled my colostomy? Well, who's got it then?" An elderly patient became irate during a medical examination when he peeked at the doctor's chart and saw that the doctor had written Major SOB underlined at the bottom. The physician stopped him in mid-rant and said, "Major shortness of breath," but now they both apply. During a patient's 2-week follow-up appointment with his cardiologist, he informed me, his doctor, that he was having trouble with one of his medications. "Which one?" I asked. "The patch. The nurse told me to put on a new one every 6 hours, and now I'm running out of places to put it." I had him quickly undress and discovered what I hoped I wouldn't see. Yes, the man had 50 patches on his body. Now the instructions include removal of old patches before applying the new one. I was caring for a woman and asked, "How was your breakfast this morning?" "It was very good, except the Kentucky jelly. I couldn't get used to the taste," the patient replied. Then I asked to see the jelly, and the woman produced a foil package labeled KY jelly. If you like these stories, please like and subscribe for more in the future. Have a good day.